It is surprisingly difficult to find someone on Craigslist willing to take off their shirt on national television and have their nipples clamped as part of a science experiment. It is my quest to find such a person that leads me to Joe. I'm 25 and have just been promoted to associate producer of Humanly Impossible, a National Geographic television show about weird people who can do wacky things with their bodies and the science behind how it all works. My boss has assigned me to deal with all of the details and problems for the segment about the Great Nippolini, a Philadelphia area body piercer with a penchant for leather pants and a world record for being able to lift the most weight from his very large and stretched out nipple piercings. This is the first time in my career that I've ever had the word producer in my title, and I am so excited. I need to prove to my boss that he has made the right choice. So I make copious color-coded spreadsheets and thorough to-do lists. And on the top of that to-do list is find an extra for our control test about our Nippolini's pain tolerance. So what I do, what any smart producer would do, I turn to Craigslist. Wanted. National Science Television Show seeks extra for on-camera control test. Must be willing to have your pain tolerance tested. Compensation? $200. The headshots and resumes start pouring in, and I'm like, I got this. There's the EMT who secretly wants to be a model, the accountant who secretly wants to have a Bravo TV show. But when I offer each of these people the job, and I tell them, oh, by the way, the pain test is a nipple pain tolerance test, they say, no thanks. Now, I'm panicking because the shoot is tomorrow. We have our 30-person crew all booked. Nippolini has his leather pants pressed and ready to go. And I'm a producer. It is my job to solve problems, no matter how I have to do it. So I start thinking, okay, well, I have to find someone. I guess maybe I'm gonna have to do it. And I look down and I think, no, that's not gonna happen. But then I look up and I see Joe at the snack table. Joe is a scrawny 22-year-old production assistant, and it is Joe's first big job. I hired Joe as a favor to one of the other production assistants, and I think, well, maybe. I know Joe's not working tomorrow, but maybe he wants another day of work. So I go up to Joe and I say, Joe, how would you like another day of work tomorrow? And you would really be helping me out because you see, the extra that we had lined up for our nipple pain tolerance test backed out at the last minute. Complete lie. And, I'm panicking. We need someone to do this segment. And, you could get some screen time. You could even maybe put it on IMDb. And Joe looks at me, his boss, and I can tell that he really wants the extra day of work, but doesn't really want to be on TV, but sort of thinks about it, and he reluctantly says yes, and I say yes. To-do list checked off. Producer, score. It's the day of the show. Our set is prepped and ready. It's sort of like a mad scientist lab meets 1970s doctor's office, inexplicably in an industrial warehouse. We have gadgets and gizmos and blinking lights and machines. And I have my clipboard in hand and my walkie on, and I go up to Joe and I say, Joe, it's almost your big moment to shine. Take off your shirt. The director calls action. I shove Joe onto the set. He sits down in the chair. Our doctor patches him up to all of our machines. And see, Joe is already sort of a pale, scrawny guy, and when the doctor picks up the clamp that he's gonna use for their nipple pain tolerance test, I can just see the blood rush out of Joe's face. And I'm standing there with my clipboard being like, let's get on with it, we're running late here. And so the doctor, he takes the clamp, which by the way, I think I bought at Home Depot. It's like one of those industrial clamps with the orange handles. and he clamps down on Joe's nipple. And you know what? We scientifically prove the obvious, that most people's nipples are in fact sensitive. Joe's face contorts, his heart rate skyrockets. And you know, in that moment, my heart rate drops because I realize what I've done is really messed up. And I start to think to myself, do I really want to be in an industry where these are the types of problems that I'm contractually obligated to solve? Okay, well, no time to worry about that. There's too much to do. Joe comes off the set rubbing his now very sore and painful nipples, gets high fives from some of the other PAs, and I say, Joe, thank you so much. You totally saved my ass. Now go fill the snack table, prep the pigskin for the next experiment, and return the production van. I get to work writing my next Craigslist ad for my newest segment. Wanted. National Science Television Show seeks extra for on-camera control test. Must be willing to be mildly electrocuted. Compensation, $200.